Deadpool and Wolverine. It was good. Good movie, solid movie, lots of action, lots of good fights. There's a fight that happens on a bus that's pretty entertaining. I think I wanted more from the story, but it was good. It was a good movie. The particulars of the story I found slightly lacking. Tons of cameos. When we were getting hints that there were going to be tons of cameos, there were tons. Actual people showed up. Some were in the background. Some of them you could look at and speculate that they were one person or another. Some of them were specifically a character. And then a lot of them were mentioned. A lot of characters were mentioned. A lot of mutants, mostly, were mentioned. Wolverine, of course, is in this. And he's in full uniform. And by that, I mean full uniform. Man, he's got the mask and everything, which was kind of cool. So what had happened was, Wade tries to go to the 616 and join the Avengers. He apparently, it looks like he's serious about trying to join the Avengers, but if you know Deadpool from the comic books or from the movies, you know he's maybe not really Avengers material. So one of the other cameos that interviews him for a job with the Avengers gives him the "this is where we stand up," pats him on the back and walks him out thing. You know, this job isn't for you. It's above your pay grade, basically. So it's mentioned in the movie that he, basically falls into a depression, as much as he can be depressed, and he starts selling cars, man. And the TVA pull him away from that and tell him he's got something special that he's got to do. They don't tell him exactly what it is. They tell him they're not sure. They don't tell him what it is, but they tell him he's got to do it. He wants to go home first, and they tell him, "Nah, your home's getting destroyed, man." So he can't go back. So he has to figure out a way to save his universe. Plus, he really wants to go to the 616 because he wants to be an Avenger. He wants to do both things, so he has to figure out how to do it. That's essentially where the adventure begins. He goes through a lot of stuff, man. He meets Cassandra Nova, basically the twin of Charles Xavier. He meets a lot of people. He meets one of the people. I don't want to tell you everybody because there's a lot of people in there. A lot of them, from the internet you were expecting, from trailers you were expecting. Some of them you weren't expecting. One of them I'm gonna say, if you don't want to hear this name, fast forward about 30 seconds and you'll be good. But he meets 3, 2, 1, Blade. Wesley Snipes' Blade is in this movie, and he looks good. I don't know if they did the fake face thing or what, but he looked like he was in pretty good shape. And he says something in the movie. He says they're talking about how there's multiple Punishers that have been pulled into the void. They meet in the void, and he says there's been multiple Punishers, but only one Blade, because there's only one Blade, and there will always only be one Blade. When he said that, I started thinking about Muhammad Ali and his movie coming up. There's only one Blade. I'm thinking that there's going to be two of them. But they meet a bunch of Wolverines. They meet Wolverine with the one hand and the wild hair from the Age of Apocalypse. They meet the Wolverine with the white suit and the patch eye, calls himself Patch. They meet him. They meet the Henry Cavill Wolverine, which I thought was kind of cool. That's a big dude. That is a huge dude. They meet in the comic books. They have a comic book, 251 X-Men, called Fever Dream, and in that Wolverine is on a crucifix, on an X crucifix, and he's tied up on there, or he's spiked on there. They meet that Wolverine, and they meet some other ones, but I don't want to say the movie was rushed. I don't want to say it wasn't long enough, because some of the spots in the movie kind of drag on. There's a few times you're going to be in a movie and you're going to be like, this would be a good time to go get popcorn, because there's talking, but nothing's really happening. They took a lot of time for witty banter with Ryan Reynolds to give him a chance to say a bunch of funny things. And I mean, he's funny. He's a funny guy. But I think there might have been just a pinch too much funny in this movie, because it felt like every 5 minutes there was a ba-dum-bum kind of a moment. And, that's good. Clearly it's good. It's his third movie with the same character. But I think that, you know what? I had a friend that made a cake one time. Made a cake and put some icing on it. I actually prefer a little icing on my cake. I like that. But the icing was about 1.5 inches thick. It's too much doggone icing. You know that was too much doggone icing. If you're watching this video right now, yes, I'm talking about you. That was too much doggone icing. That was ridiculous. Everybody that had a slice had to scrape 1 inch of icing off the cake before they could taste the cake. Anime. So that's what this was. The icing was good, but there was just too much. You had to scrape a little bit off to make it good. The comedy in here, it's good, it's funny, but it might have been just a little bit too much. Maybe you should have scraped a little bit of that off to make a good movie. I don't know. It's just how I felt. Another Wolverine that they had. I feel like I'm giving everything away. I don't want to give it away. Most of the 20th Century Fox characters, the movie characters, are going to get wiped out in this. It's pretty much, this movie is pretty much a way to say goodbye to 20th Century Fox. Hello, 100% to Marvel. We got all these characters. These characters can show up in Marvel if we so choose. A lot of nostalgia type characters showed up. You're going to see a bunch of people. You're going to be like, I forgot about her. She was in that movie. I forgot about him. He was in that movie. They got a lot of that happening. They had the Deadpool core in this movie, and with that, there was Lady Deadpool, who I heard was going to be one of 2 people, but I haven't checked the credits, and as far as I know, it was neither one of them. So that kind of sucked. Then they had, with the Deadpool core, they had Dogpool, which in the comics and in the movie is a disgusting little animal. I did not like Dogpool. I was not a fan. The movie was good though. I mean, it was solid. It was a good movie. It doesn't really lead up to, I mean, if you watch this movie, you're not going to say, oh, I know where they're going. They're going to do this or do that. They didn't really do that. It was just a movie to close off Fox, basically. A good movie, solid movie. It just, I think the writing could have went someplace. There's a scene in the movie where the villains have the heroes pinned down, and then one of the heroes does a thing where he can just get up and slowly walk across the screen, and the villains don't want to attack him, and he's just kind of looking at him, and he walks slowly across the screen, and I'm like, that's like Harrison Ford with that guy with all those ninja moves with that sword Indiana Jones, and he pulls out the gun and shoots him. It was kind of entertaining, but it was a little lazy at the same time. But then again, they had Wolverine's mask, and that kind of makes up for it. I want to do a spoiler review because I can't really say everything. The movie just came out. I can't really say everything. It's going to be a big movie, I'm sure. Usually I go to the theater, I go at weird hours so that I can concentrate on a movie without people screaming and yelling and I miss something. So I either go really, really, really early, or, depending on what day of the week it is, I might go at a weird time. But this time, I went in the middle of the night, second to the last movie, and that joint was packed. It was packed. I think usually I go and there's like 11 people, 5 people at the theater if I go to a movie. I went this time, there were probably 4 or 5 seats that were available. It was almost completely packed. And there were people standing outside ready for the next movie. I don't know why they didn't go to that one, but people outside were ready for the next movie. So a lot of people are checking this movie. It's going to make a lot of money. I don't want to give spoilers for everything, but it was good. The fighting was good. The bus fight was good. The Deadpool versus Wolverine, they have 2 fights. They're good. We all saw the preview, Wolverine versus Sabretooth. I wasn't a fan of that fight. Then we had the TVA versus Deadpool. That was probably the best fight. When the TVA are trying to take Deadpool in and he doesn't want to go, that was a good fight. That was a good fight. I like that one. But this was a good movie. It was good enough that I would give Deadpool versus Wolverine. I was thinking it was going to be a 10, but I'm going to give it 8 bags of popcorn. 8 bags of popcorn. Not bad. Not bad. Just, wasn't a perfect movie in my opinion, but 8 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that you had a chance to look at the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. There's 2 Easter eggs. And then like.
Popcorn passport.